Hi OJ. Early last year, I lost my boyfriend too. I am sharing this because I saw a story on your channel where a lady said she made her boyfriend go mad, and I felt I could share mine too. Some men can be wicked and take women for granted without looking back. I don't need help because my situation is over, but sometimes I feel bad. Maybe sharing it will help me get over it completely. Keep me anonymous. I just want to share this for me. OJ, I started dating right from SHS. When we completed school, he started working as a teacher, but I was still at home. He kept pushing me to get a job to support him because he wanted us to start a family early and prove that he could marry young without anyone's help. I eventually found a job in a restaurant. We were the same age, just a few months apart. I gave him half of my earnings each month, keeping the rest to myself since he had an account and I didn't. He saved the money for both of us in his account. In 2013, he started a mobile money and an airtime business using our savings. He hired someone to manage the shop while we both worked separately. He was very focused and intelligent, and within 6 months, he opened a second shop with our money. By then, we were only 22 years old. By mid-2015, he opened a bigger shop and asked me to quit my job to manage the business full-time. I worked from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. and I was happy we were making progress. We weren't spending extravagantly as he was always focused on growing the business. In the bigger shop, we sold airtime and electronic vouchers in wholesale and helped other mobile money vendors with transactions. Although the business was doing well, I wasn't getting paid a dime. I only ate from the shop and spent less than 10 cedis a day. He would punish me and complain bitterly if I made any losses. So I was always extra careful. I thought this was for our future. That same year, he started a degree program through distance learning. I wanted to do mine as well, but he said we should marry first and that I didn't need a degree since we were already doing business. He promised I could get a degree after we get married. Each year, he delayed the marriage, saying we would get married after he reached level 200, then level 300, and so on. By the time he graduated, I was still handling the business while he moved on to other ventures. He started spending the profits on things I don't know about. We used to make over 8,000 cedis monthly, but that money seemed to disappear anytime I questioned. In 2021, after he finished his national service, I pressured him about marriage, but he avoided the topic. I was in my late 20s and needed to do something with my life. He then bought a car and said he wanted to finish building a house he had started while in school. It is at this point that I would ask that you subscribe to the channel, share this video or a comment, because that is the only way you encourage me to bring you more stories and confessions. Please subscribe and not miss out on the end of the story. Let's go. At some point, I started paying myself monthly from the shop because I felt like I was wasting my time. He was living lavishly, wearing new clothes and going to expensive places, while I remained the same in the business. When I told him I was paying myself, he agreed. A few months later, he asked me to give him all the money I had saved, saying he wanted to go and see my parents. That was in 2022. I gave him the money, but 3 days before he was supposed to go and see my parents, he said he wanted to open another branch with the money, so I should wait. At that point, I lost it, OJ. I was 30 years old and he wasn't keeping to his promises. He insisted he was doing what was best for us, saying we couldn't live off our marriage alone. A few months later, he brought a girl to the shop and asked me to train her. When I asked why, he refused to explain. After 2 months, he called me late at night to tell me not to come to work the next day because the girl would be taken over from me. When I refused, he threatened to have me arrested if I showed up. I couldn't reach him after that day. Everything was in his name, and after nearly 10 years, I was left with less than 600 cedis in my account. No marriage and no future with him. I went to the shop one day and met the girl I had trained. A woman came in and she called her Madame. I asked what kind of Madame she was, and she introduced herself as the fiancée of my girl's boss. OJ, she didn't know me, so she freely made the introduction. The woman was beautiful, well-groomed, and clearly being taken good care of. OJ, I called him with a passerby's phone, and when he heard my voice, he hung up. Eventually, I met him in person and asked him to explain what was happening. He coldly told me that we were over. For months, I cried and even considered ending my life. I spent 3 days at the beach, not eating or drinking anything because I couldn't handle the pain. I wanted to die, but didn't have the strength to do it. On the 4th day, I decided to go home and start all over again, but I felt powerless. At one point, I thought about getting revenge. I called him from my sister's phone and lied, saying I had 25,000 cedis from the business lying with me. He asked me to keep it, but later his greed made him call back, asking for 15,000 cedis, claiming there was a shortage in the business money. I knew he was lying. I invited him over and served him a drink, secretly spiking it. I asked him why he no longer wanted to be with me, and he said he just felt like marriage wouldn't work between us. We talked for a while, and I told him I had lied about the money. I just wanted to talk to him. He got angry and left. A few days later, I passed by the shop and it was closed with his poster outside. He had died in an accident the night he left my place. Though it was ruled an accident, I knew it was because of the poison. I never attended his funeral and never asked anyone about him. He's gone, and while my life isn't perfect, it's been more peaceful. We both lost everything. I no longer trust men, but I plan to have a child soon and start my own business. OJ, this is my story. Judge me if you wish. I don't care. I did what I had to do. I was very hurt. In life, sometimes we least expect the wildest things from the people closest to us. Click on this video as a man shares his wildest confession on how his brother got him kidnapped for a ransom.